Hello everyone. Welcome to my channel. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button, and give this video a like. Up in The Big Bang Theory, young Sheldon highlights the shortcomings of Leonard and Penny's parenting by giving Missy her own story at last. Following their marriage, Penny and Leonard were marginalized and their stories stagnated as a result of The Big Bang Theory's failure. By providing Sheldon's narration of Penny and Leonard's existence, young Sheldon has the chance to make amends for the storyline's failure. In some ways, the underlying tragedy of Penny and Leonard's romance on The Big Bang Theory is shown through Missy's story in Young Sheldon Season 6. Through its sole spin-off, the universe of TBBT continues 4 years after it concluded. Young Sheldon serves as an origin story for Jim Parsons' Sheldon Cooper, with the prequel tackling his time living in Texas with his family. Young Sheldon's connections to its parent series are primarily focused on its title character, even if it is associated with The Big Bang Theory. In recent years, however, CBS shifted its approach to the show, opting to focus more on Sheldon and the rest of the Coopers, instead of consistently referencing the original show. Missy used to be marginalized by young Sheldon, despite its varied storytelling. When Sheldon's sister first appeared in Season 1 of The Big Bang Theory, despite her little cameo in the original sitcom was more than sufficient to leave an impression. She earned her own storyline, but the prequel squandered years of promise by putting her in a supporting position. However, when she was eventually given her personal narrative in Young Sheldon Season 6, everything changed. In some ways, Missy's personal storyline brought attention to the greatest letdown in Leonard and Penny's romance, even though it had nothing to do with The Big Bang Theory. In Young Sheldon, Missy has already made 2 escape attempts. The Young Sheldon Season 4 finale was the first instance. She eventually returned home, but a few years later she gave it another go in a bolder manner. Missy stole her dad's truck and on a risky joyride in the hopes of meeting Paige in Florida because she was tired of her parents ignoring her all the time. Mary and George were naturally upset when she was apprehended and taken home. They never paid attention to her grievances, though, rather than making an effort to comprehend her perspective as well. The way Penny and Leonard handled Sheldon's attempt to flee in the Season 7 finale of The Big Bang Theory is very different from this. He became so overwhelmed by the changes in his life that he concluded the best course of action was to vanish. Despite Sheldon's propensity for being irrational, Penny and Leonard attempted to reason with him and even promised to support him during this trying time. Although they eventually had to let him go because he was an adult, their handling of the matter was far superior to Mary and George's treatment of Missy and young Sheldon. Given the contrast between the Coopers and Hofstadters, it is impossible to avoid feeling let down by The Big Bang Theory's failure to truly depict Leonard and Penny as parents. Following months of disagreement over starting a family, by announcing that they were expecting their first child, the sitcom hastened the conclusion of their plot. Regardless of the plot's execution, it is frustrating for viewers that they were unable to witness the couple's family life, especially considering how wonderful they would make parents. The Big Bang Theory's Big Three was Sheldon, Penny, and Leonard, even though it was a full ensemble. Their connection has always been the foundation of the show. Although their relationships with Sheldon were quite different, Penny and Leonard both obviously cared about him. However, the socially awkward savant served as the couple's virtual practice child. When Penny and Leonard parted ways in The Spaghetti Catalyst, episode 21 of Season 3 of The Big Bang Theory, CBS relied on this theory. They were very careful to be kind to each other so as not to upset their friend, especially because Sheldon was caught in the middle of the breakup. Through years of doing this, the couple developed empathy for the effects of their relationship on others, which is crucial while parenting children, in addition to learning how to handle childish outbursts. But the story of Sheldon and Amy was perhaps the most prominent. However, The Big Bang Theory's original love pairing was Leonard and Penny. Even though it took them some time to get together, it was immediately apparent that they were meant to be. The writers were persuaded to bring them together by the emotional investment from fans, even though The Big Bang Theory had not been dedicated to their romance for years. Regretfully, it seemed as though CBS had no interest in continuing their storyline after they were married. The Big Bang Theory effectively put a stop to the couple's story after they got married. Leonard continued his scientific endeavors, while Penny changed careers, but they both made progress on their own. However, they had little success as a couple. Rather, they served as supporting characters in other people's narratives, especially as Sheldon and Amy's relationship went through a difficult period before becoming genuinely serious. In order to correct this error, CBS introduced a storyline line in the last season of The Big Bang Theory that placed their relationship back at the heart of the show's narrative. However, the arc ultimately came off as rushed, disappointing, and unwarranted. It has been a while since The Big Bang Theory was developed. Even while the show is still quite popular, there is very little possibility that it will be renewed, at least not very soon. The primary cast members have pursued other professional pursuits. Nevertheless, young Sheldon still gives CBS the opportunity to atone for their huge Leonard and Penny error. Adult Sheldon's narration can provide updates on the Pasadena gang situation following the conclusion of The Big Bang Theory, even though the ongoing family comedy takes place decades before the events of its parent show. In contrast to the 6 seasons of young Sheldon, Parsons' Sheldon voiceover might provide an update regarding the Hofstadters. It's strange that Sheldon won't discuss his best buddies, but it's unclear if this is deliberate. However, CBS could even bring in Johnny Galecki and Kaylee Cuoco for their own voice cameos, which Simon Helberg and Mayim Bialik have both performed as Howard and Amy, if they want to make a big deal out of this. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube Young Sheldon 24 channel, and stay with us.